I think we're kind of piggybacking all the attention that the Winter Classic gets, and with the NHL Network picking up our NESN feed, it's going to certainly make this more than a local event or just another hockey game. BCBU game isn't usually just another hockey game, and this really has kind of different credentials. You know, it was so wrapped up in the details that sometimes you have to step back to realize this is going to draw more people to a college hockey game than I've ever seen a college game in the East. Obviously, the Michigan State game at East Lansing has set the bar pretty high a number of years ago, but it'll be the largest crowd for a game in the East, and possibly the largest crowd ever to see a women's game, depending how many people are there by the end of that first game. You know, there are two of us that have to make decisions on the weather. Sam Kennedy from the Red Sox representing the building, and myself representing Hockey East and the teams. And there are a lot of moving parts to this. If the game starts, you've got the NCAA rule book that comes into play. But we've been watching the weather. Things change so fast that you almost don't want to look too far in advance to see what it's going to be. But number one, the safety of the players will be a factor. Number two, the integrity of the game. I played a whole season outdoors in Europe and played in snow, and from an aesthetic point of view, a little bit of snow probably is what people want to see, but you got to make sure you can move the puck. You got to make sure the players aren't compromised, and you're balancing that against a lot of commerce that's involved in the game as well, with 38,000 people having bought tickets. But we won't do anything that'll compromise the players or the game. You know, in a normal year, our tournament is the biggest event, but you have years of precedent and experience, and like almost like a biological clock. You know when you've got to get certain things done and certain things kick in. This was all new. It started with conversations in April, was announced in August, and it's happening at a time when we are normally have the least amount of work as you hit the holidays, and you take a deep breath at year's end, and then you get ready for the tournament. So it's been an unusual experience for us. It's been a lot of work. People don't probably realize that a hockey conference office only has 3 full-time people, and some leagues only have 2. So a small number of people are doing an awful lot of work to make this happen. But the payback has been great, and working with the Red Sox has been terrific. They in the National Hockey League, they've really, you've never felt at some point, you know, at any point, that you were kind of just an appendage to this. Everybody has kind of gotten into the spirit of it, and it's for all the hockey experiences I've had in my life, this has been one of the most unique. I think it's very important, and it's been an easy thing for me over the years to look for things to be inclusive with the women. I mean, I've had a history with women's hockey going back to coaching at Harvard over 30 years ago now, so I've always wanted to be inclusive. I know that their level of appreciation is through the roof. We've also been able to get an hour of practice ice with our women's national team that's passing through Boston just prior to the game. So, and the Red Sox donated that hour, given that a lot of hours are going for some high money, but they were supportive as well, and it's been that'll be a great experience for our national team before they go to Vancouver. Well, we were actually kind of fortunate in that at the time we booked the first game, it was a game that was already on the schedule, and it allowed us to have a local team in Northeast. And what we couldn't have predicted, that they'd be our 2 top-ranked teams nationally. And in the standings, both UNH and Northeastern having strong years. You come to expect it from UNH, but Northeastern's having one of the better years in recent memory, and they're doing so without head coach David Flint, who's with our Olympic team. So Lauren McAuliffe and Linda Lundgren have done a great job. The BCBU game always has a special cachet, probably more so this year, given the fact that they're the last 2 defending national champions, which puts us on the map a little bit. The fact that their seasons are going a different direction is something we didn't expect, but BU certainly had a history of kind of turning things around after the new year, and that's, I'm sure, what they're looking for, and BC's been one of our hotter teams. So that adds to what's kind of a standard historical matchup, no matter where or when they play. Well, I mean, you got to be pretty jaded not to walk in and feel something special. I mean, I've had a chance to go in there a few times since the rink went down, and of course, I'm probably an extreme case. I used to be a vendor selling hot dogs when I was in high school, and I'm a big Red Sox fan, but I think it's going to be a very special experience. I think the Red Sox did a great job in pricing the tickets to make it accessible to a lot of people, so that the average price was $50. I mean, there are a lot of ways to get in there for less than $50. I think it's going to be one of those once-in-a-lifetime events. I know people are talking about, let's bring it back, let's do it again, let's do it annually, but I think the first one, if there are others, will be special.